I'm no longer a sticky one.
That's good. Thank God, because I'm sitting
We
right
we
here.
get
Now I want a metal mug, dude. Now, like, the jealousy is real.
it's really? I like those better. Almost got the Darth Vader one.
Oh my God, why didn't you?
Yeah, I saw the Game of Thrones one. I was like, that was cool.
Warning, bad dad joke.
What does Santa say to the smoker?
To the smoke. I don't know. What did Santa say to the smoker?
Can you please don't smoke? It's bad for my elf.
Oh my God, that was really bad. Like, where's the burpee penalty law?
Yeah, look, I do. That's a pretty good one, though. I like that one.
I
You
I
know,
think that puts you on Santa's naughty list. I'm not gonna
oh,
lie.
I
I think
got
that's
another one.
right where we
I got
go.
another one ties into that.
Oh no.
Why did the letter E get a present and the rest of the alphabet did not?
I don't know why.
Because they're on the not E list.
Wow. All right. I'm sorry, folks. Please don't put your loved ones through this at home.
But,
Hi, folks. I'm Coach Tanya,
and I'm Coach Mertz.
and this is the Affiliate Soapbox.
Ding. There we go.
Wow.
All right. So we're talking about what do you want for Christmas?
So, CrossFit wise, Christmas list. I only have about 15 pairs of CrossFit shoes. So I probably need a few more of those, everybody. I could probably use a new belt, weightlifting belt, right? The one I've had is a couple years old. It was a hand-me-down. Maybe some new wrist straps. Maybe some headbands. Is that still a thing? Like, what do you want for Christmas?
You know, I have done it all, been through all the gear. Definitely was the gear. Can I say?
There's censorship
when I
warning
first
for this
started,
podcast.
when I first started CrossFit, you know, I remember walking into CrossFit gym and I had Pumas on, thinking that I'm fine with this, and then eventually, you know, everybody decided the Nano 2s, and they're like, oh, this is such a better shoe, and I ended up okay. Indoctrination of CrossFit gear usually starts with the shoe, with the CrossFit shoe.
Yeah, the Metcon.
You know, Metcons came out. I was day one. I was a big Nike guy. So day one, when the Metcons came out, I got them. And then now you have so many different brands of CrossFit shoes. Reebok, I think, is coming out with that brand new, such a good shoe that is going to be banned by CrossFit. You have Go Ruck make shoes. Yeah. There's so many different shoe brands.
You haven't even mentioned Noble, and they're the
Nobles.
I mean, the
I
best
was a
thing about
Noble.
Noble is they're so pretty, right? That's why I have 15 to 17 pairs of shoes.
I went on a Noble tirade for years, and I love their running shoes. I still use their running shoes, but I kind of got off the market with the Noble just training shoes and started kind of dipping myself. I went with the Tier, got the Tier for a few years, and now the brand new ones I got are the what do you call them? The shoot, I forgot the name of the damn thing. I mean, I just got them. I don't know.
No idea. They're on your feet.
They're the new. I don't know. They're the new what everybody's getting. They're
The new.
the new ones. It'll come to me probably at some
So-
point. Yeah, these are called Rads. Says it on the bottom. I'm an idiot. I bought them a week ago. I couldn't remember.
Well, but what makes it a CrossFit shoe? Why is it? Why are all these brands? I mean, I walked into CrossFit and joined, and now everybody's wearing these shoes. And I bought the new shoes because wow, they were really cool looking. But what makes these cool looking shoes CrossFit shoes?
Well, because the sole's gonna be harder than a normal tennis shoe. And with that being said, when you're doing any kind of weighted movements, it's more stable. You can apply force better instead of having a spongy thing underneath between your feet and the ground that absorbs too much energy.
I'd also say a lower drop, right?
It's got a different. It's got a
going
different
from
drop on there.
16 millimeters down to 2.
And that all matters too. Some of them make higher drops than others. Like Innovates has some really high drops, and then Noble is pretty flat, doesn't have much drop at all. So and that all the drop basically goes into how good is your squat. If you have limitations in your squat, the higher the heel, the better you're able to squat, which kind of goes into, you know, why people go to the Ollie shoes. Who?
Why is it Ollie and not Oli? Olympic lifting, Oli. Everybody looks at me like I'm insane, which I'm not arguing that point. But
you
Oli,
were right.
Ollie.
You were right.
Why?
I'm born and raised in New Orleans. We drowned out the vowel a little bit more, you know.
Man, all right. back to we're gonna step away from the correct pronunciation of the English language. We're not gonna get into that right now. Okay, that's a whole nother New Orleans topic for a different podcast, folks. But so aside from shoes, what's the main thing? What's the main piece of equipment that you had to have for CrossFit that everybody, had to have back in your day?
Back in my day. I'm back in my day, Sonny.
You are pretty old in CrossFit years, really.
I mean, I think right after the shoes came the bag. I think came the bag. You had to get a
Yep.
bag to put all your gear in because as you accumulate. Oh, actually, before that, knee sleeves for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
the
knee
sleeves,
sleeves.
yeah.
Between the bag, because as soon as you get the shoes, as soon as you get the knee sleeves, you need somewhere where they go to die.
Right. Where they go to create the fungus, right? That starts to grow in the bag so that you have the proper smell in your CrossFit gym bag.
Tell me you don't wash your gear without telling me you don't wash your gear. And I was that guy. I was a stinky one for a long time. Knee sleeves would stink. I can't tell you how many coaches and athletes would open that bag up and they'd just be like, Mertz, I did Olympic weightlifting competition. My coach, after I finished my lifts and I went and hugged her, she's like, I love you, Mertz. You did great. Step away, So yeah, definitely I've definitely got to clean your gear. I definitely have been better with that over a few years. But yeah, getting good quality knee sleeves because there's a couple different types of knee sleeves to get. They're based on millimeters. Typically, I think the 5 millimeter is the most common one.
5 or 7.
Yeah, 7
Yeah.
gets a little thicker. The thicker it is, the more supportive it is, but it's also more restrictive if you're doing basic CrossFit functional movements. So most people go to the 5 millimeter because you can do pretty much anything with that.
But let's talk about what does that knee sleeve actually do for you? Because in my mind, it gives me a little bit of compression, which makes me feel safer, and it warms up the joints, keeps it a little bit warmer, right? Which helps me move a little bit better. I think that people look at some of these pieces of equipment as they're actually helping you do the lift, and they're really
To a
not.
degree,
They
yeah, maybe percentage there, small percentage.
I think to a large extent, it's a comfort
Yeah.
blanket, right? You hold on to that and okay, I wasn't gonna be able to squat today, but I got my knee sleeves and
Yeah.
I got my nobles, so now we're gonna be good.
Well, I
Right?
think my biggest pet peeve with that is when people break out the knee sleeves and slash the weight belt, which we'll get to in a minute, when it's not needed. Body weight movements. I mean, if you're having knee issues and you need to keep your knees warm, that might be an excuse. But typically, if don't break them out too early.
Yeah.
Don't break
Right?
them out too early because you need that. You need to reinforce the stabilization without it to be able to get away from knee pain. Otherwise, you're just hiding in knee pain all the time.
Exactly. Well, and let's talk about the belt. I mean, so
Yeah.
the belts.
Got to
You
get
gotta
that after.
throw that
Yep.
on there.
Belt for sure. I mean, maybe belt before gym bag too. I mean,
That's true.
belt then gym bag maybe.
Because you got to get the belt. You got to have the bag that'll let you carry the belt. 'Cause
Yeah.
not all gym bags will support having your weightlifting belt.
No, right? Yeah, yeah. And belts. I think one of the most common one that most people get is the Tupood,
Mhm.
which is a really good belt. I am the hand me down. I've never bought a weight belt before.
Ditto.
I've never bought one. I've always had hand me downs, and at some point I will get my own. But you know, it's a piece of gear I think that is important. Again, going back to the knee
Like
sleeves.
the hesitant is important.
It for sure as we get heavier to protect our back, but it's so much more. It's got that use. Now going back to percentage wise of how much help. Yes, the belt does help at high percentages.
Well, let's talk about, you use the word protect though. When you're wearing a belt, the belt itself isn't protecting your back.
No, your core is
Right. So
yeah.
you're using the belt as a means of increasing your perception of how well you're bracing your core.
Intra-abdominal.
You're activating that
Yeah.
core, you're activating the abdominals, those are erectors, and you're pushing out into the belt, right? So you've
Yeah.
got that tactile cue. So you know that you've pushed out far enough with those core muscles that you're protecting your
Yeah.
back, right? And that
Yeah.
you're using proper lifting form. So let's clear that up right now. So wearing that belt is not protecting your back.
Don't wear it on kettlebell swings, please.
It's simply cueing you
Yeah.
to better protect
Yeah,
your back.
And that's another pet peeve, right? Because people will bring out the belt. So I said it earlier, and people do bring out the belt for just about anything and everything. And no, I mean, typically, I think the the rule of thumb is 80% and above, right, on lifts. I'll, tend to maybe 85%.
I think that rule's a little subjective too, though. Are we using it to help athletes that are having issues with bracing because it's new to
Yeah.
them?
Yeah.
So maybe we're using it on far lesser percentages. Maybe these athletes don't even have a percentage. There are some athletes, I have athletes in my master's classes, and I simply take out a resistance band, one of the short bands, and I put that around their core. They're not
That's a
doing
good idea.
heavy lifting, but it's helping me teach them
Sure.
with a tactile cue. Can you feel that band getting tighter, right, as
Yeah.
you brace? So that helps them understand what I'm trying to get them to do before we do something like a lift or even a kettlebell, right?
Oh, yeah,
Kettlebell
yeah.
swing. So
Yeah,
when you
like I said,
say,
subjective, right? I
right,
get what
when
you're
you say,
saying.
well, we can only use it above a certain, percentage, maybe that athlete today is just, not quite having the best day. Maybe they need that extra cue a little bit sooner. So
Yeah.
I find the saying, well, the rule is, above 80%. What does that athlete need?
Well, no, you're right, and you're right, and that's something that is very important because if you've been doing CrossFit for 2 or 3 months and you go buy a belt, too soon,
Right. It's
too
not
soon,
time for
because
a belt.
you're using an item that you're not learning how to brace your core just yet productively enough to sustain that 80-85% with the proper usage of it. So let's learn how to brace our core early
Hmm.
and then introduce the belt. At what's a good time frame? I guess it's just again subjective matters on how strong and how well people move, how well they're able to
Individual
brace.
needs of an athlete,
Sure.
which we've talked about. And,
Yeah.
talking about other equipment and other needs, because man, like we're talking about the whole bag of toys here, the whole
Yeah.
Santa's goodies, right?
Yeah.
So, oh, yeah, okay. Absolutely. The grips.
Grips. That's it. I
The
mean,
grip.
that could be another item before the bag, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Absolutely.
There's definitely several different grips you can go with. You got the 3-hole ones like this. They got the no-hole ones, and this is again where, and a lot of them have different elements. Like the original is just leather, right? Victory grips, the Rogue grips, they're just leather.
Let's talk about the function of the grip. What's the grip for? For those
Longevity ultimately, but yeah.
on the pull-up bar.
But yes,
Right?
yes.
So you're hanging on the bar. What the grip does is, first off, it gives you a little bit thicker diameter, right, onto that bar that you're holding
Yeah.
on to. So if you're having trouble gripping, that can help a little bit. It also protection of the hands, right? So we might,
Some more grips.
some more grip.
These are the no-hole ones. These are the leather ones. Yeah.
Folks that either, have jobs that they can't have calloused hands. So this might help prevent some calluses, right?
Yes.
If you have
Yeah.
calluses, it can help prevent ripping when you're doing high volume workouts. Right?
And that's probably the basic biggest need for having grips, right? Is to protect your hands
your hands.
from ripping calluses and whatnot. When it comes to grip strength, and this is kind of to get into it, when you have the hole versus no hole, okay, hole versus no hole. These right here, the ones, the holes, when you have them in your hands and you jump them in the bar, it'll create this kind of like bending grab like this. So it kind of looks like that on the bar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that right there is what secures your hands to the bar, as opposed to this, when you jump up there, it doesn't have the ability to do that. It just kind of wraps around. And I tell people this now, again, subjective matter, I guess, comes in. I much rather people use the hole than the no hole as beginners.
Okay.
And the reason why is because this will help you build your grip strength way more than this. This is because what happens here is that when you have the no hole ones, and essentially what happens is now all the weight of your body weight goes into the support of your wrist.
Right.
So now you're supported here, as opposed to going with the 3-hole where you're supporting in the actual hand itself.
The grip itself.
So you're basically reducing your grip, be able to increase your grip strength going with these. So I always tell new people, go with the hole ones until you build your grip strength. And then, after a year or two in, you want to start messing around with something like that.
All right. More presents coming in. Oh, wow. Here we go. What are these?
Those are lifting straps.
Lifting straps. Who needs lifting straps?
Ooh.
When are lifting straps appropriate? Okay.
I hate the words never, but there are definitely usage of it. We in a CrossFit class, we tend not to talk about them a whole lot.
Don't use them.
Yeah. When we
I
get to
generally don't have athletes use.
if you're part of Olympic weighting club or powerlifting club,
More so
you
powerlifting, I think. Right?
100%,
Yeah.
usage there. But unless you're in those two forms, you really don't need them. Otherwise you're limiting your grip strength,
Right.
essentially.
Not on the list, folks. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What else have we got in the toy box? What else have we got in the, whoa. All right.
What is this?
What is that? Oh, is that like that's a support?
Wrist straps.
Wrist strap. Okay.
These
there
are
we go.
very,
These
are aggressive
that's
here.
huge.
Tough
Oh
grabs.
my God, it's huge.
These are huge. Damn! These are really wide. Typically, they're about half that size for wrist straps, basically go around your wrists. Another function, another item you may get before the bag.
Okay.
I forgot about the old wrist straps. That's
it helps you feel supported, right?
And people might even get these before they get the grips. In some cases, I think I got my wrist straps. Well, I also came from the bodybuilding world, so wrist straps were a thing.
I think wrist straps for me, I started out with those when I started lifting. I was doing lifts like the snatch, for instance, and I had a really hard time supporting weight overhead. And once I learned to build up strength in my forearms, right, I got away from the wrist straps. I think they can be good, again, in training you to react certain ways with, your muscles.
Well,
I don't necessarily like them in terms of replacing the support that building that muscle up will have for your wrist.
Look, this is to pulling, but this is pushing.
Right.
So anything overhead, any kind of pressing, handstand push-ups, things like that, any kind of pressing, these come into really helpful to protect the wrist, but again, goes back to the kind of the weight belt situation here, right? If you're always using wrist straps, are you building up your wrist strength?
Right, correct. It's not so much going to actually increase your lift itself. It's more of a cue, right?
Yes.
It's a piece of equipment to help you learn.
And it will save you from injury for sure. Like, for instance, like in a clean, if you catch the bar too low, if you're going really heavy, I've had this happen to me where you catch it too low and your elbow's tucked underneath and that bar ends up here and that extreme
bend. It'll limit that range because it stops you. It physically stops your wrist from bending back too far. Absolutely. Yeah. I can see that.
What else we got here?
So
this item right here. Now this is
what brand is that?
The sandbar, but
we have a friend. His name is Chris, and he has Calicure. Right, local here to New Orleans.
Basically same thing. Yeah, I took my level 1 with him. Really nice guy. I love Chris.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically you got those calluses.
Absolutely.
Kind of, old
File
school.
those down.
Old school. I used to, before these came out, I used to get the callus remover where like you go to the Sally's Beauty Salon, right, and you shave them off. Which you could shave off too much callus. Callus is a protective measure there. So you can see, like, I have calluses that might be a little too thick. You start seeing white.
Right.
Yeah, you start seeing too much white.
Mine aren't that bad.
They're good, right? So mine's too much white. I've been doing a lot of work this week. So, but anyway, so you kind of want to remove that white. These are great for that. Because otherwise, as that white gets too thick, it's dead skin at that point, and it can cause a rip.
Yeah, it's going to catch on things, right? Yeah. As the barbell, or it's going to catch on kettlebell or up on the rig. And oh dear, here we go. Whoa, here we go. All right. So this is actually a piece of equipment. This is a shin guard. I really, really like the shin guard, right? So the reason I was gifted one of these originally for rope climbs, right? Because that rope, especially if you're wearing shorts, but even if you're wearing like the thinner pants, right? That rope can really burn those shins if you haven't properly learned how to come down the rope or even scale the rope, right? If you're not properly placing your feet. But so this goes around the shin. I really like these. Also,
those are thick too.
Yeah,
RX Smart Gear. Good job, RX Smart Gear.
RX Smart Gear. So this wraps around the bottom of your leg. I really do like. Are these absolutely necessary? It depends. As a former soccer player, I have some delicate shins, right? We've got a lot of pre-injury work coming into CrossFit.
This is definitely
a lot.
This is definitely after the bag kind of item. You don't want to get that before the bag.
I don't know. I think I might have had this before. This is one of the things I needed the bag for. And I actually would wear this, and I would wrap it around the backpack straps because it would dry out
Yeah,
and not
yeah,
be so smelly.
yeah.
Yeah, these
What
are
else we
great.
got over
Yeah,
here?
I like it. Woo. All right, what's that?
Oh, Rosen bar. All right. Basically, rosin. I said
Rosin.
it's that
It's
New Orleans
it's that New
accent.
Orleans pronunciation
Yeah.
of things. I'm
Um,
curious how, like, it's in
I
place
never
of
actually used it
chalk.
before.
In place of chalk. Oh wait, does this go on the feet? Like this is like we had no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, I've never had to needed it before.
Okay,
I never even thought
so
about
can
getting
we
it before.
so we have to use this on our feet? But yeah, that's an interesting. Maybe we should. Can we keep this? Is this a present? I wanted to try this. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Oh,
Check that out.
and then the next thing we haven't talked about is ropes.
Oh
You know,
yes,
yeah,
getting your own
we
jump
do
rope.
supply them. Most gyms will have their own ropes. You know, generally speaking, it's probably a $15 rope, roughly. Not super,
Or
you know.
40. For the first jump rope I bought, I spent $40 because I had no idea, and I was like, "Oh, this
Well,
looks
I mean,
expensive.
there is a
Let's get that
difference,
one."
right? There's difference
Yeah.
between all types of ropes.
Ah,
What we got here, the Evo rope, which is, let me tell you, Evo's a really good brand. Uh, see what's really good about these is the bearing, right? There's a bearing in there. The way it spins is a lot. Look at that,
a lot nicer.
a
Yeah,
lot
that's a
nicer.
nice
So you
spin.
get a little bit better spin on
But
those.
then say something like this, where it's attached, right?
Yeah. So this
Got
is
that jelly.
this is a thicker band. This is going to be something for people to practice to start with, to learn
Mhm.
that double unders with is a little thicker. So if you're going to get your first jump rope to learn double unders, you're going to want to get something that has a little thicker gauge on there.
Mhm.
That way the rope essentially slows down a little bit for you to be able to.
Right, and there's no bearing, so
There-
it's not going to spin.
Yeah, no, yeah, and the feedback on is a lot better than a normal speed rope. And then you have the RPM rope, which is I use the RPM ropes a lot. Again, they'll have a little spin to it. As they wear out, you know, you kind of have to replace them. That's the negative
Well,
about
what I've
these.
seen, depending on the type of rope you get, so this rope here, you can replace just the rope if you really like
Yeah,
the handle. So
yeah,
people start replacing just the cord,
yeah,
right? And if you like the handles, you can do that on most of them. I
yeah,
wouldn't necessarily do it on this one,
yeah. I mean,
right?
if
But
you're learning
you can,
crossovers,
but
like something like this is good for crossovers. That thicker gauge to learn
right.
crossovers. Going back to the RPM rope, which my favorite thing about the RPM rope is the actual rope itself is made out of high grade aircraft steel.
Oh wow.
And this one's coated. Matter on your flooring. I have an
And
uncoated
also how
one.
much you like your legs when you miss.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Coated
Definitely.
rope.
Definitely. If you learn to double unders, you don't want this one because it will whip you to death.
Right.
But
And looking like you just came off the punishment platform.
what's great. Yeah, this is a great rope as well. So I usually go with the RPM. The Evo rope's really good. There's all kinds of brands of ropes.
What this tells me, though, from this nice little carrier package is that Coach Kyle has way too many ropes. So if you're shopping for Coach Kyle this Christmas season, don't get him any more ropes.
Don't need
He
a rope.
absolutely
Look, he even got
not need-
backup in there, right? In case one
Talk
breaks.
about the coach who needs the bag, right?
The ropes are different weights.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's got different weights, right? Different different handles. He's got a nice carrying case. Maybe Coach Kyle does need a new bag, an even bigger gym bag than he already possibly has, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, because you're either carrying a gym bag, maybe, or then, another thing a lot of people like to get is the vest, right?
Well,
The weighted
that's a new rage right now too, especially with the studies showing that just walking with a vest for X amount of
going for a ruck, which is a weighted walk,
correct,
right?
Yeah,
At a moderate pace, maybe slow pace, maybe even a hike. So you're rucking around, if you will.
You typically won't see that in a program rucking in CrossFit because it's a long endeavor, right? You just don't go ruck for
maybe on
20,
a
30
Saturday, where you're having a fun class. We're going to throw on some vests, go ruck around town.
Yeah, you walk around. Yeah, so that you can see, like I go to the park every weekend, and you can see the multitude of people are just walking with vests. And I think it's good. I like to see people getting that gear in and using it in a productive manner. I think it's one of those things going back to we can go back deep diving into the zone 2 thing, but that's essentially a zone 2 item, right? To be able, and what happens here is I think it's the replacement of time there. If I spend an hour and a half walking with a ruck and I'm not doing any kind of functional intensity workouts.
Right, you're not getting any
You're getting some
You're
benefit, but
getting some
you're not
but
getting,
not the benefit
you're
you
not
get
using the
from
time.
right.
You're not using time wisely, especially. So that's kind of a pet
Not
peeve
bad.
thing.
Definitely something to do, but not something, again, you don't want to do it all the time. That
Yeah.
shouldn't be your sole
Yeah.
exercise. So big question. Which one of these items, how many of these things do I need to start CrossFit today?
Oh, nothing. None of it. None of it. And in
Good
fact,
answer.
even to that, where I'm at, I don't use hardly any of it
Yeah,
anymore.
a lot of it's sitting in my locker.
I mean, I still have my rope. I will use that because I'm just so comfortable with it. The belt I pull out when I need it, kind of situation there. Knee sleeves, only if I'm, again, kind of with the belt. If I'm doing some heavy squats, heavy cleans and squat cleans, snatches. I don't even use them for snatches. So yeah. At this point now, I really don't need much of any of it.
And I think that's a good point to be made, is that we got all of this stuff when we started because it was exciting, right? Everybody else
Yeah.
had it. It's a reason to buy it. You start shopping, woohoo, right? We started using these items. I think in the end, a lot of these, whether it's the grips, the different sleeves, I think a lot of these items actually probably hampered our progress, right? We didn't go quite as linearly as we can. Not all progress is linear. If you show up every day, if you get in that consistency here on
Yeah.
the wall, right?
Yeah.
You're going to build to a point where none of this equipment actually matters, right?
No.
The only thing you need to do CrossFit is you.
Yeah.
Please come dressed. Don't come naked. But the only thing you need to walk into a
Yeah.
CrossFit gym is yourself. Have some sort of shoe on. Would we prefer it to be a flatter shoe? Absolutely.
I was going to say exactly that. Like if I'm joining a CrossFit gym, after a few months, you get a CrossFit shoe.
Right,
I mean, that's probably the
honestly,
only thing you
worst
need.
case scenario, your first day walk in. If we
No,
need
you
you
don't
to have
need
a
it.
flat foot, we can take that shoe off.
No, we don't
Okay?
need it.
Absolutely.
Don't need it. But that's probably the one item I'd say that people, after a few months, 3 months into the CrossFit scene, get a good shoe, because I think that really that's where I think you see out of all that we just listed, that's where you see the biggest benefit, the biggest bang for your buck is going to be a nice CrossFit
A
shoe.
decent shoe.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And that's why you asked, what do I want for Christmas? More shoes. Realistically, though, I just like them because they're pretty. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and here's the other part too, right? Is what what's another item that you can offer for Christmas?
oh, so if I want to give somebody something for Christmas,
Yes,
for CrossFit,
I'm a friend of yours. I'm into CrossFit. What would you do for me?
I would actually buy you a CrossFit plan. I'd give you 1 month at CrossFit. I'd be like, you know what, Mertz? This is for you. Here's the ticket. I want to see you get healthier and happier. I want you to have a better life. And here's the way to do it. So I'm going to buy you a CrossFit plan.
What if you bought them a CrossFit plan and a barbell?
I would say,
Did we jump a bunch of steps?
We just jumped way too many steps, okay? Because then you got to find a place to keep the barbell. You don't want to put that in your car every time, drag it back. No, just buy somebody the plan, walk them into the gym. The best thing you can do for someone is to help them get a better quality of life and become more functional.
And if you add all those items up, that's got to be in the $1,000-$1,500 range,
yeah,
right?
if not
Where
more.
a membership, a couple $100.
We don't want to see Coach Kyle's bill. Like, Coach Kyle's commitment.
A couple $100 can go a long way to help your family member, your friend out, buy them that first month.
Yeah.
Get them in. That's how you got in.
Bring them in for that very first class. I had my first CrossFit experience, was paid for by someone else against my will, and here I am today. I own a CrossFit affiliate.
That should be the number one gift for anybody who does not do CrossFit, that you want to see become a better human being, improve themselves, become a better version of themselves, is get them that month. Buy them a month. Somebody bought you the month.
Yeah.
Did you not show up?
Oh, I showed up because, it was
not
a
gonna waste their
gift.
money.
It was new. I didn't want to waste their money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So I
tried
think it's
it.
a great way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell
Absolutely.
yeah.
Folks, we are looking forward to the rest of the holiday season. Thank you for joining us today. Please like, share, and follow. This has been Coach Tanya.
And this is Coach Mertz.
And the Affiliate Soapbox. Cheers.
Cheers.
That is a cool new mug. I like
Yeah.
it. Is it real metal?
No, it's like pewter or some shit.
Oh, okay.
20.
I thought it was like metal.
No. I mean, it's metal on the inside. I mean, it's pewter on the outside.
Okay.
It's whatever.
like poke it.
You know, it's the I am the father of dragons.
No comment. Father of dragons. Next, you're gonna be like in a fire pit somewhere with a bunch of eggs. Right? That's
Well,
not how it works. You make some great, maybe boiled eggs, deviled eggs that
you
way,
know,
but that's not how it works.
I now want to be called Mertz Snow.
Yeah, we can get a shirt that says that, Mertz. No,
Mertz
no.
no.
Can you put tone on a shirt?
Put the Mertz and then S apostrophe the quotation marks no.
No. Yeah, I like this. We're gonna research this, folks. This is a great plan.